Hello, everyone. Welcome to week 10 of the semester. Now, due to the cancellation of class, what I will be doing is I will generally be recording all the lab exercises that we were supposed to complete in this week's class. So, therefore, without any further delays, let's get on with it. So, if I would refer to the Moodle shell, so I'm referring to week 10 section of the Moodle shell. From there, this is the layout that we had been working from last week. In today's class, we'll start coding them using CSS. Now, please do note that there are some associative files with this particular lab and the images, that is the images. So please do go ahead and download this and we will be using it accordingly in today's lab session. Now, what I've done is I have my weekly folders for CN 535. In last week's class, in week 9 lab, we had developed a test website.html file followed by a test style.css file, and these are the images that are up on Moodle. So very quickly, what I'll do is I'll copy this and I'll also paste this in week 10 folder. So now we can directly get on and start working with these files. Now our layout, please do note, is something like this. So we have a banner followed by we have some columns, and then we have call, and then the footer, and within the footer we have some other elements. So to get on with it, let me go and open up test website.html. So I will do a right click over it and I'll wait for my computer to display me the options. So right click and then open with. So we're using Notepad at the moment. So open with Notepad and let me go and make this bigger in size. So if you look at the banner section, so this is where we are. So our banner section, we have a divider. Now within this divider, okay, now if I look at this, so I would want to go and insert in an image. So this is HTML, by the way. At the moment we're inserting in the comments. So what I want to insert is basically I want to insert banner.jpg. Now let's go and have a look at the file name. Is our file name the same? So banner, so right click over it. Let's go into properties. So banner, it's an image file like you can see. So the image name is banner.jpg. So let's go and insert those. However, there's a slight twist to it. Now do notice that all this while all our images were in the very same folder with the HTML file. However, in this lab, what has happened is basically we have a separate folder within the week 10 folder called images. And within that folder, we have the images that you want to actually insert in our website. So very quickly, this is what I'm going to do. I will go and place my cursor, make sure we are following the structure and indenting it towards the right. So within my divider tags here for banner, I will insert in an image tag. Pardon me, image tag. There you go. Now, please do note that our image tag is a closed tag. That means it has a single tag only. And then we'll start inserting in the image. So with the image tag, we have attributes source. Moreover, we have another attribute called alternative text. Now the source, remember, so within the week 10 folder, we have images. Within the images, we have banner.jpg. So we'll type down images. Is it capital I or small I? It's capital I, so images, indicating that it's a folder, a slash, and then banner.jpg. And then the alternative text that I want to insert is banner image for tests website. And let's go and open this up and see whether our image has been inserted or not. So I'll go back to my week 10 folder. There you go. And I'll open up the test website. And there you go. My image is on the web page. Pretty cool. Moving on. So let's refer to this. Okay, now we have 3 columns. Okay, and we have labeled them as column left, column center, and column right. Now within each and every one of these columns, the blue ones, let's replace the blue squares with texts and the orange ones with images. Okay, so let's go and type in some dummy text. So first of all, how do we type text? We can type in text in the paragraph tag. So opening paragraph tag followed by a closing paragraph tag, and write down this. This is dummy text for column hyphen left. And then let's go and repeat this multiple times. So let's say about 20 more times. So one, I've copied and I'm pasting it off. Don't forget the full stop. So Control C to copy. So that's 2, 3, 4. What you can do is probably you can press Control Shift and Enter to move it to the other side. Okay, there you go. And then another one, there you go, and another time, Control V. And we have something like this. So Shift and Enter. Some more times, Shift and Enter. Now, when you're making an actual website, what you're generally doing is you're inserting in some actual content. So since we are making a test website, so I'm just feeding in some dummy text so that we can actually go and see how the web page layout would actually look like. All right, Control C, Control and S to save it up. Let's go into the browser, refresh, and there you have some dummy text. Now, after the dummy text, remember we said we'll have one image as well for the orange. So let's go and insert in the image. Now, what shall we go around calling our image, or which one of these images would I want to use? Let's use content call one, okay, for the column left. So this is what I'm going to do next is I am going to go on to the next line and insert in an image tag, img, okay, and then src for source followed by quotes, and then alt, alternate text, followed by some quotes. So the image that I want to have in there is content column one. Now do look at this, that it's a PNG file. So very carefully, what I'll do is, now if you feel that you might end up making spelling errors, so this is what you can do. You can go and do a right click over it and then click on rename, and you'll see the text or the file name is copied. So press Control C to copy that and then paste it off within the source, and then .png, since it's a PNG file. And the alternate text that you can have is image for column left, and then Control S to save. So once you save it off, go back to your browser, refresh it up. Now something went wrong. See, this is the purpose of alternate text. When something goes wrong, your text will show up. So let's go and have a look at this. What went wrong here? So first of all, I'll have to remove this, which I have done very, very carefully, and then go and refresh it up. Now, what's the problem? Can any one of you guess it out? Now, do remember that our image is within a folder. Which folder? Images folder. Okay, so I will type down images, spelling, make sure it's correct, followed by a backslash, Control S to save, go back to the browser, and then refresh, and there's your text. Sorry, image. All good? Alrighty, let's move on. So this is for your column left. Now let's move on to our column center. Now we'll do the pretty same thing for column center. So if you look at the layout, so you have text for blue and the orange indicates images. So we will go and first of all insert in an opening paragraph tag followed by a closing paragraph tag. After that, I will go and copy all of this text from there and paste it in between those paragraph tags. And then instead of where I have column left, I would go and replace those with column center. So very carefully, all of you, can you quickly go and replace the word left with center? What you can do is you can copy the word center using Control and C and then paste it off on top of left after you've selected it with Control and V. Please ensure that you're doing it correctly and at the same time ensuring that you're getting well versed with what all things we're doing in terms of inserting text. Now also please do remember the order of where we're doing things. For instance, first of all, we went out inserting in the HTML skeleton. After that, what we did was we went around organizing our layouts to the use of dividers. And then we also went around inserting in and linking our CSS file. Remember, for this particular exercise, we're using external CSS. External CSS generally has a separate file. Moreover, once we were done with that, now we're inserting in contents in our web page. This is rather pretty simple, not so difficult. If you have any questions or queries, you're most welcome to drop me an email, or you can always ask me when we meet in the next class. Now, after we inserted in the paragraphs, the next thing we have to do is insert in our image. So opening image tag. After that, your attribute source followed by quotes, and then alternate text followed by quotes. Control S to save. Once you've done that, let's go and look at the file name. So our file name over here is content call2. So I'll do a right click over it, click on rename with the text selected, press Control C to copy, and then I'll insert in the name of the image. Remember, since our image is inside an images folder, so you have to indicate the folder name followed by content column 2, and then your alternate text is image for column hyphen center, and then Control S to save. Once you have saved that, quickly go and open up the browser and refresh it up. And what went wrong? Let's have a look at this. What went wrong? What went wrong? Over here, the extension is missing. So your extension is PNG. Let's go and cross check whether it's PNG or JPEG. It's JPEG at the moment. Okay, so have to be careful with the extensions. So it's JPEG and then Control S to save. Now go and refresh and voila, there you go. All good? Moving on. So now we'll do the same with the column right. So what I'll do is I'll make things a bit more simple for you. I'll copy all of this, okay? Move on and place your cursor in between the dividers for column right and Control V to paste. Now where the word center is, you have to replace it with the word right. So very carefully, I'll go and copy right, Control C to copy, select center, and then Control V to paste and replace the word center with right. So let's take a few minutes to get that done. Now remember, when you're actually making a when you're making an actual website, rather, you'll have to enter, or you have to enter the correct text for that website. Generally, the content may be in relation to what type of business, service, or information you intend to provide for your readers or your viewers. Please ensure that you're going slow. Okay, there's no need to rush it off. The more you try to rush it off in website development, and especially with coding, you'll tend to make up a lot of errors. So please try your best to go as slow and steady as possible. Once you learn things properly, then you can build up onto the pace. Okay, so last one. All right, so I'm done with that. Next up is images. So my images, okay, so if I want to have a look at the image, it's content column 3. So I can just replace it with 3 over here. Now, please do check the file format for the extension. So this is JPEG. So content column 3.jpg, and then the alternate text is image for column right. And Control S to save. Go back to the browser and then refresh, and there you go. Okay, now please do note that at the moment we are nowhere near to what the layout is currently is on the Moodle page. Don't worry about it. We're doing it slowly, so don't worry much about it. We'll try to pick it up. Okay. Now, next up is this. So the next thing that we're doing is we are going and inserting in 2 more text over here. Okay, so let's go and insert in text for column left and col right. So what you can do over here is rather pretty simple. So what I would suggest for you to do is, can you quickly go and insert in the dummy text? So open filling paragraph followed by a closing paragraph tag, and then in here you'll write down this is dummy text for col left. And then I would suggest, can you go and copy this entire sentence and paste it 2 times. After that, shift and enter, tab key to drag it or indent into the right, and control and V to paste it 3 more times. And can you continue it for 10 more lines? So at the moment we are on line 2. So this is line 3. This is line 4, 5, 6, line 7, line 8, line 9, line 10. Okay, pretty cool. After that, now remember, please ensure that you are in your divider called col. Inside that you have col left and col right. So this is for col left. Let's go and apply the same thing for col right. So placing your cursor in between the class name col right, and then this time you have an opening paragraph tag followed by a closing paragraph tag, and you write down this is dummy text for col right, full stop. Now likewise, can you go and copy and paste it to ensure that you have 10 lines of the same text, bit of space, there you go. Okay, and then you'll repeat it off. This is line 2, line 3, 4, 5, and then line 6, line 7, line 8, line 9, and then line 10. Awesome. Alrighty. So the next thing that we have is, let's go and insert in a image. You have text and then you have a map. Okay, so the image for the class name footer, inside that you have another f left, that's footer left. Let's go and insert in an image, so using image tag. Now inside that you have two attributes called source followed by quotes, and then alternative text followed by quotes. Now for your source, now I have not specifically given you a image. Let's go and just work on either of these images and then later on resize them. So let's go and stick to content call1.png. So rename, Control C to copy the name. After that, you'll type down images indicating the folder, and then content call1.png. Alternate text is image for footer left. Full stop. Alrighty, moving on. Now the footer center represents some form of text. So we have to place in our cursor inside F center class name, and then for text paragraph, opening paragraph followed by a closing paragraph. In here, let's go and insert in some text as well. So this is dummy text for F center. Pardon me, F center, full stop. And let's go and repeat these lines only for 5 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Control S to save. After that is F right. For footer right, it represents a map. Now this gets interesting. Now what happens is, to insert in a map, you need to get the map, basically what we call it as a script for the map. So I'll ask you to go onto a browser and then type down maps.google.com. Now let's go and specify the location of FNU Natambua campus. So it's PG National University. And then do you have Lautoka campus? There you go, Lautoka campus. And this is where we are. Okay, let's go and insert in a satellite view of this. Okay, so this is the B block, and I think we are seated somewhere in here, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, so parking lot, B block, that's the foyer, this is the cafeteria. Generally you walk this way up, and we are seated somewhere over here. Okay, now let's do this. Let's go onto the menu option and then share or embed map. Copy the link. After that, go back to your HTML file, right click, paste. Nope, something's wrong. Now, this is a send link, pardon me. Can you click on embed the map? Pardon me, please. Embed the map and then copy HTML from there. So this is how it will look. Okay. And then, yeah, copy HTML. And then can you go and do a right click and paste? Now, this is how it's supposed to be. Now, what you can do is it goes right somewhere at the very end, leave it as it is. All right. And then Control S to save, go to the browser, and then F5 to refresh, see if you have your map down there. There you go. So typical, right? Now, we're done with inserting in the content. Next up is, let's go and next up is let's go and control the layout. Now to control the layout, we need to work with the CSS file. Now, if you look at your HTML code, somewhere right at the very top within the head text, you had linked in a style sheet called teststyle.css. So let's go and open that up. Now, what we can do is we can close off this HTML file because I don't think we need to work anything in here now. Okay, so let's close this off. Go back to your week 10 folder. So inside the week 10 folder, you have teststyle.css. To right click upon it, open with Notepad. Now, once you're there, we had some code, remember the body tag. Okay, leave it as it is. Now, let's go and control the banner first. So the banner option there, let's go and control it. So this is what I want you to do. Before we actually start inserting in the codes, let's go and insert in the comment and tell the CSS file what the following set of codes are about. So this is how you insert a comment in CSS. Make this bigger in size. Okay, there you go. All right, so it needs to be something like this. So banner, there's the comment. And now please remember that we had inserted in classes. I think we need to open up the HTML file. Pardon me for that. So Notepad, there you go. So remember the name of our class here is banner. Now to actually access these codes and apply some form of styling to it, you need to call out the class banner. Now to call out the class banner is like this. So you'll add in a period sign, a full stop, and type down the name of the class banner. And then you'll have a open and close curly braces. And what you'll do is you'll type in float is to left. That means it will start beginning from the left hand side of the screen. That's your first code. And then let's go and see what change it does. Now when you float it up, what happens is it starts from the left and everything starts going towards the left hand side. You notice that? Let's go and take this off. Now let's go and take off the CSS code from here. Control S to save and then refresh. See, this is how it works. So when you float it to the left hand side, all the contents of the web page starts from the very left and follows up from there onwards. So I'll go and remove this. Control S to save. And then there you go. You see that? Now, at the moment, we're not controlling the banner image. What you're controlling is the entire of that section banner. Now, within that section, then you have the image. So before we move on to the image, let's go and insert in something else. And let's say the size of the banner, we want to take it to full screen. Now, generally, you can give a size in pixels, but what happens is when you give sizes in pixels, when the size of your monitor changes, when the size of your screen changes, it would fluctuate. For instance, this is for a very, like the screen that I'm using is a 21-inch screen at the moment. So I'll try to get a pixel-based size done for this particular screen. But if I move on to a very smaller screen, what will happen is the images or that section will overlap or it won't look good. Okay, so what I would suggest is if you want to have a consistent size in all spaces, always try to use percentage signs. Okay, so width colon 100%, saying you want to occupy the entire size of the screen. Control S to save. So once you've done that, do you see? Now this basically is your column left, and this forms your banner. So everything inside the banner goes for full length. Now image is not yet going to 100%. Why? Because the image is very small. So we can go and edit this up. To do that, what I would suggest is go back to your test style.css. After that, can you go and insert a comment? And let's call the comment as banner image. And you'll write down something like this. Now do note this. You have a banner class. Now inside that class, you have an image. So to actually apply any form of effects to the image, so what you'll do is this. First of all, you'll call out which section, which is banner, and what content or what feature do you want to apply change to. So I want to apply change to the image, and then open curly braces followed by close curly braces. After that, you'll start inserting in the codes. So now what you want to do is over here, let's first of all go and control the height. So height, let's keep it to 300 pixels. Now for height purpose, you can keep it to 300, or you can keep it in pixels because you're moving up to down. So your screen does not really matter when you're measuring the vertical angle. It generally matters when you're measuring the left to right, the horizontal angle. Okay, so 300 pixels, control S to save, go to your browser, refresh. Bigger now? Yep. Now let's go and occupy it full screen. So if you want to take it to full screen, what you'll do is you'll write down width and then say 100% followed by a semicolon. Control S to save, browser, refresh, there you go. Now your image looks bit distorted. Don't worry about it. This is a test website. Generally, if you are doing a real website, you'll have to ensure that your initial image is quite bigger in size, like about 1200 by 800 pixels or something bigger than that. All good, everyone? Alrighty, moving on. So the next element that we have is our column left. Now, before we actually go and work on column left, what we want to do is we want to basically go and control the entire column and set it to 100%. Now, let's look at the codes. Do you see? You have a column class. Your column class basically starts right on the top and finishes somewhere at the bottom here. And in between those, you have column left, you have column center, followed by column right. So let's go and first of all, give a full space or full styling of our column. Now in here, first of all, we'll go and insert in a comment and say column. Once you're done with that, okay, so since it's a class, to call out a class, okay, you need to insert in a period sign. Is it uppercase or lowercase? That's lowercase. Okay, so column. All right, after that, open and close curly braces, and then you'll go and give in the styling for your column. Now please, like what we did for the banner, let's also float this to the left. Control S to save. Now let's go and refresh. You won't see much impact, a little bit here and there. Okay, and after that, let's go and set this to a width of 100%. Control S to save and refresh your browser. Now, do note this. So the entire thing is 100%, but you have 3 columns. So if you want to have equal spaces for all these columns, so what you'll do is simple mathematics is 100 divided by 3. So 100 divided by 3 is 33.33%. Yeah, 33.33%. So what you'll do next is you'll call out your column left, and from there, what you want to do is you can go and give it a width rate of 33.33%. Okay, or you can even say 33. Now, why 33, not 33.33? If you directly indicate 33.33, it will give very little spaces in between those columns. Let's try out with 33.33 and then we can change it to 33. So this is what we'll do. So column and then column left. Okay, so this is the code for column left. Okay, so to call out, you'll say column and then column hyphen left, open and close curly braces. Now in there, let's first of all allocate a float to left. Okay, Control S to save, and then refresh. Not much change at the moment, it's okay. And then float. After float, you'll set the width to 33.33%. Semicolon. Control S to save. Now, something is not picking up. Now, when something like this happens, what you can do is just try to remove this column from here and just have column left and Control S to save. Now, does that work? Yes, it does. Now, do notice this. You see there's very little gap in between these. It's all right, we'll work it out. Now, likewise, what I'll suggest for you to do is, since we have 3 columns, let's apply the same set of codes for column center and column right. So column center, so period sign, column hyphen center, and then open and close curly braces. And then let's give a float of left, pardon me, float colon left followed by a semicolon. After that, the width that we're allocating is 33.33%, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save, and then refresh. Now the images are overlapping, don't worry about it. Do you see the texts? They're quite getting in order. Okay, the images, because they're too big in size, we can control the images in a while. Okay, don't worry. Now, straight up, let's go on and work on column right. So a comment and then column right. And then let's call out the column. So period sign, column hyphen right. Please ensure the spelling is correct, same as what you have in your HTML file. Let's float the entire thing to left. And then let's give a width of 33.33%, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save, go back to your browser and then refresh. Now, this is what I was saying. Do you see there's very little space in between these columns? So if you want to have a bit more space so that it doesn't make your text too smushy, so what you can do is just remove this 0.33 and make it 33%. 33%. After that, Control S to save and then go and refresh. Do you see some more space coming in? If you feel the space is not adequate, what you can do is you can still go and control and reduce the size. Okay. Now, next up, let's go and work on the images. Now, the image that we have it for column left, we have it for column center, and we also have it for column right. Straight underneath column left, let's insert a comment and call it as column left image, and let's call it out. Now over here you'll have to basically first of all call out the column left first and then the image. For images we have to be very specific, something as such. Okay, after that, this is what we want to do. Now we want to have a height of 400 pixels. Now top to down doesn't really matter if it's in pixels or percentage. And then let's save it up, refresh our browser. That's 400 pixels for you. All good. after that, let's set up the width. That means how much do you want it to occupy? Let's set it to 90%. That means within that section of 33%, 90% is covered for that image. And then refresh. You see that? Now, if you want to have full, if you want to take it to the full length, you can have this as 100. There you go. Now, what happens is generally when you have it to full 100, it goes and starts to touch in with the other images. So to control that, let's reduce it a bit. Let's say 95%. There you go. All good. Now, likewise, you can do the very same for the other images as well. So let's go to, what you can do is you can copy the entire set of code, okay, and then paste it under column center, and then let's change in the text. So this will be center image and column center image, okay, height 400 pixels and width 95%. So after that, go and refresh your browser. There you go. All good. Now, next up, we'll do the same for column right image. So column right image, control S to save. After that, this needs to be changed to right. 400 pixels, height 95%. Sorry, height 400 pixels, width 95%. And go and refresh your browser. So this is what you get. Now, do notice is that I think there's a line of additional text in the others, and over here it's very little. So what you can do is, if you want to bring the image down, remember how do we insert image? How do we insert basically spaces? Break tag. Okay, yeah, let's go and use a break tag. So remember, break tag is also a closing tag. So therefore, break tag, control S to save, browser, refresh, inline. So far, so good, everyone. Now, one thing that I dislike about is you notice that these are getting mixed up. Okay, now to control that, we have something called margin and paddings. Now, what margin does is basically it controls all elements outside an area, and padding controls within. Now, you can apply either of those at any point in time to control spacing. For instance, let's go and apply some margin, that means the outside area for this column. So where do I want to space? I want the space to be here, okay? So let's go and apply a margin. So this is margin. If I have to apply some margin, so this becomes margin top, here bottom, left, and right. So I want space on the right. So content column one, sorry, not content column one, this is content left rather. So for content left, let's go and apply a margin right. So column left, let's go and apply a margin on the right hand side, margin right, and let's say 5 pixels. Control S to save after that, and then go and refresh. Do you see some space coming in? All right. Likewise, we can do it for the other ones as well. So for this is column center. So let's go and apply for column center. Let's go and apply a margin right of 5 pixels followed by a semicolon, and then refresh. Likewise, for this one, what we can do is we can apply margin left and margin right as well. Okay, so for column right, let's go and apply a margin left. Now, do note that when you apply a margin left, that means there will be some space coming from this side. Okay, so margin left, let's apply a space of 5 pixels followed by a semicolon. There you go. Right hand side, probably we can leave it as it is. Pretty good. Now, banner, your columns. Now, let's move on. So the next stage that we're working on is call left and call right. So the entire thing is called call. This entire portion is called call. So let's go and apply some styling to call. So let's insert a comment call. Now we want the entire call to be floating to the left hand side of the screen. Sorry, pardon me. So first of all, I need to call out the class, which is call, and open and close braces. So let's go and first of all float it to the left side of the screen. After that, let's apply a width of 100%, semicolon. Control S to save and refresh the browser. Now, once I've done this, now inside my call, I have column left and column right. Now there are two, so it can go to 50-50% each. Okay, so first of all, let's insert a comment. So this is call left. And in here, I'll type down call class. First of all, I'll call the class call and then left and then curly braces. After that, the next thing I will do is I will float this to the left hand side of the screen and give a width of 50% at first. Control S to save. Once you're done, refresh. Okay, gets all mixed up, don't worry about it, we'll work it out. After that, you have your next call, which is call right. And we'll call it out, call out the class using call and then right, open and close braces, float it to the left, semicolon, and then a width of 50% as well, semicolon. Now, so column left, we've said the width is this, call left, call right. Okay, let's go and check call left, call right. This is fine. And let's go and insert a comment here as well, call right. Now, when you're aligning it to the left hand side, something does not seem to work. Now, can you think out what is the problem over here? So what do you think has gone wrong in here? Have a look at it again. Look at your codes. Now the code seems fine. Column left, and then column left, column right, call right, and then call right. That seems fine. Floating to the left, that means it starts off from the left, goes till 50%, and then the other call rights rather, starts from the left and goes 50%. But what is wrong? Now, the thing that has gone wrong in here is this. See, it occupies 50%, 50%. That means covers up the entire screen. So that means half of this, that's where the cutoff, half of this, that's where the text is divided. So to actually see some space in between, let's do this. Let's set the width to, let's say, 45%. And over here to 45% as well. Control S to save. So once you've done that, to refresh and see, do you see the difference now? Yep. Okay. Now let's go and make this give some more space in between. Now what you can do is you can set this up to 50%, which should be totally fine. Okay. But instead of that, let's go and set some padding. Now padding, basically, remember the last time I told you margin controls the space inside of an element, sorry, outside of the element, and padding controls the space inside. So at the moment, remember column left. Okay, so that's like a box. Let's control the space inside the box. So let's give a padding to the right hand side, and let's say 10 pixels, followed by a semicolon. Control S to save. Once you've done that, refresh. Now, what has happened? The text has jumped completely to the other side. Now, why has that happened? Just because I've already given out a space of 50-50 additional space, pulls it to the other side. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it up in a while. Okay. Now over here, let's also go and set up a padding. This time, let's go and set up a padding towards the left-hand side of this, the goal right. So left, let's give a padding of 10 pixels as well. Refresh. Now, to control this and set this in order, let's do a bit of trial and error. So 45% and then 45%. Control S to save, refresh the browser. Bit better now? Yep, completely better. Now, if you feel there's a lot of space on the other side, so what you can do is you can still go and play around and change it to 47. Now, there's no definite way of doing it. You can always do a bit of trial and error. This looks even more better now. Okay, so now that's your text divided into 2 columns. Moving on. Okay, the very last section is the footer. So first of all, we'll have to set the footer to 100%. So you have your comment over there for footer. Okay, so to call out a class, so footer, and then let's float it to the left hand side of the screen. Float, and then float it to the left. Control S to save, and then refresh. Not much changes. After that, let's set the width to 100%, followed by a semicolon. And then not much to be saved or seen over here again. The reason being why is because of those images. Okay, don't worry about it. We can control this. After that, what we'll do is let's go and so you have F left, I guess, F left, F center, and F right. So let's go and insert in comments for F left. Okay. So your F left, so F and then hyphen F hyphen left, and then curly braces is a class, so we're calling out the use of a period sign or full stop. Let's float it to the left and set the width to 33.33%, followed by a semicolon. And then there you go. Okay. Now in it, you have an image. Let's go and control the size of the image. So what I'll do is this, I'll copy all of this and I'll just paste it underneath that, Control V to paste. And over here, I'll insert in a comment, call it as F left image, and then close the comment and call out the class. So F left and then img for image. So the image, I want it to float with the left, and in the 33.33%, let the image cover up 90% of the space. There you go. All good. So that's pretty natural. Now, how about this? If you look at your previous codes where we have placed in our images, so the image, basically what we had done was we had controlled the height. Remember? So let's go and remove this, or if you want, you can even keep this and set the height of that image to 100 pixels. It look very off, but there you go. Okay. Yeah, generally we might need a bit more smaller image in this case. So let's go and increase even further. Let's set it to 300 pixels so that it looks a bit better. There you go. Now, moving on. So F center. So let's insert in a comment for F center. Okay, close of the comment. After that, we'll call out F hyphen center using a period sign and then open and close braces. Now in here, you will float it to the left hand side of the screen followed by a semicolon and give a width of how much? 33.33%. Remember, it's a column over there. So give a space. Next up is you have your F right, close in the comment, call out F right using the period sign F right. Now, why are you using a period sign? Because it's a class. To call out a class, you normally use a period sign. So float F right to the left hand side of the screen and then set the width to 33.33% followed by a semicolon and then refresh. So this is the result that you actually get. Now, do note that your F left is all right. Now your F center gets somewhere underneath this image. And then your F right comes in over here. Now let's go and check out our codes. So F left, first of all, footer is 100%. So this seems fine, floating to the left. So F left, which is here, is floating to the left, 33.33%. F center is also floating to the left, 33.33%, which is good. And F right is floating to the left with a width of 33.33%. Now these seem good. What has gone wrong here? Now, this is what I would like you to do. I'd like you to fiddle around with this and then take this as something like a homework for the week. And then next week when we catch up, now next week, please note it's a public holiday, it's a Diwali holiday. So I will also be recording a video for that. So next week when we actually catch up via a video, so I'll come up with the solution for this. Meanwhile, what I want you to do is try to figure out what has gone wrong and how you can go around improving this. Okay, everyone. So this is your homework for the week. Now, do note that your website looks well structured at the moment. So you have a banner, you have the 3 columns, left, center, right, with the images, and then you have call left, call right, which looks good, pretty good at the moment, and then your footer section, which needs some additional work. Now, the same thing goes with the map. Try to get the map in line with the size of this image that you have and see if you can get things in order. Now, give your best, do give it a try, and try your best to get it done. If you're able to work this out, you'll find it easy to do your project 3. By the way, everyone, project 3 is also up on Moodle. So go over that, organize yourselves into group and kick off with the project. Till then, this is where I'll leave you for the week. Take care, everyone. See you all next week. Thank you. Goodbye.